From Speezy32, who has the better situation, Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett? It's a good question. I think both are in pretty decent landing spots. Both teams have good stability right now with their head coach and with their front office. Now, interestingly enough, both OCs are the play callers are not the head coaches. I think I lean Pittsburgh just because historically is one of the best run organizations in the NFL, but that's like 1A, 1B in terms of the quarterback landing spot. So it's a good question. I think I go Steelers, but it's a true toss-up for me. Gerald Greenway, should the Steelers trade for Cam Robinson? Well, they just extended him, so no. I don't think the Steelers would go out and trade for Cam Robinson. I don't see that being a valid possibility. The big, offensive line names have kind of disappeared by that standpoint there, but I don't think Robinson makes a lot of sense since they did just pay him. From James Heiner, what do you think will be the most intriguing quarterback battles once camp starts? Great question, I should say. Steelers jumps out with Mitchell Trubisky against Kenny Pickett. Beyond that, things are mostly settled. The Falcons, Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota, another good one. Whatever happens in Carolina feels like one. They can't enter the year with just Darnold and Ridder, right? They got to add, or Darnold and Corral. They got to add somebody else in there. The Niners, if they keep Jimmy G, I guess that could be a competition. And whatever's going to happen in Seattle, Drew Lock, Geno Smith, and I hope a third QB also makes sense. From all my friends, draft is over. Where does Baker Mayfield end up? Your guess is as good as mine. As the draft went on, or pre-draft, I should say, 5 teams have been the most linked. Houston as a sleeper, Pittsburgh if he were cut, Carolina, Seattle as trade partners, and the Falcons maybe a sleeper too. But Pittsburgh took Kenny Pickett, crossed them off the list. Falcons added Desmond Ridder, crossed them off it. Carolina took Matt Corral, but they had trade talks, so I'm not going to totally rule out Carolina. I think Seattle in the end is where he ends up, but that's just a guess on a gut feeling. I don't have a great feel in the end. What do you think? Curious what you guys have to say. Where will Baker Mayfield play in 2022? Make your predictions for me in the comments section. Why Big Jordan? If you had to choose Golden Corral or Kenny Pick 6, of the nicknames, Golden Corral is like 1,000 times better. That is a way, but you can't Pick 6 as your nickname and be good. Of course, that's not Pickett's nickname. Of the two QBs, I like Pickett more. I think Corral might have some higher upside, but it's going to take him a while to get there, I think. From Jim Panson, 84, which day 3 pick do you think could have an immediate impact? So there are going to be a lot of guys on day 3 that step up and play a big-time role early. I think the first 3 picks of day 3, right? Cade Otton to the Bucks, Dameon Pierce to the Texans, Perion Winfrey. All those guys could step up sooner rather than later. Looking through my list here as well, I like Neil Farrell a lot. The Charlie Kohler pick I like. Technically, your kickers and punters can make a big impact, but I hate that. Calvin Austin to the Steelers. I really like that pickup in the 4th round as well. We mentioned Tyler Algier of the Falcons earlier in today's live show. He's a good fit as an early impact type of player. Those skill position players also often make their impact felt kind of quickly. I thought Jamari Salyer to the Chargers was a steal later on in the draft. That's another one in terms of offensive line play who could make a nice impact for you. For live shows, NFL news, rumors, and more, all season and off-season long, you've come to the right spot. Hit that big red button and subscribe at youtube.com/chatsportstv. From Oliver Sandy, where will Akiem Hicks sign? Good question. The Dolphins had been linked pretty recently as part of a visit/meeting, workout, whichever it ended up being. I don't think they're the only potential destination. Hicks is best as a 3-4 defensive lineman, so these teams will run 3-4 fronts, so some teams I think you should keep in mind. The Minnesota Vikings, I think, are a great second fit beyond your favorites in Miami. If you want to try him at nose guard, Tennessee could work. The Rams, if he wants to be a ring chaser and your 4th defensive lineman. And dark horse here, the Pittsburgh Steelers could also make some sense as a fit for Akiem Hicks if they want some added depth that's not named Tyson Alualu on that defensive line. I want you to name a sleeper free agent left on the market. The big names, for the most part, are off the board. Of course, Clowney, OBJ, still out there. A sleeper name who could be a gem for you as we enter May. Drop a name or names if you want to be an overachiever for me in the comments right now. Tariq Johnson, Donta Hightower to the Steelers. I'm all for it. I think that'd be a fun idea. Adding some blitzing linebacker help and given the uncertainty around Devin Bush, I think it would make a ton of sense for Pittsburgh. From Oh My Lord, who will be the first quarterback drafted next? I assume you mean year. It is way too early, and we will do some way too early mock drafts. It would be an early two-team race, I think. Two-player race. Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback, and C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State QB. Hey, maybe Spencer Rattler actually is decent under pressure next year, but these are the early favorites in what appears to be a better class than what we had this year. I say appears to be because there's an entire year of college football to be played. Changes happen. It's not by any means a locked and loaded thing. Who do you think goes first of these two? BY for Bryce Young or CJ for CJ Stroud? From Pablo, who had the best draft? The ones that I liked the most, the Baltimore Ravens, I thought crushed it this year. I thought Philadelphia did a fantastic job as well. And I also thought that the Chiefs, those three teams in particular, amongst several others, all did a really good job. DCX Viper, who are your top prospects for the 2023 NFL Draft? I won't go too far in depth. We will eventually do a way too early 2023 class. Jackson Smith in no order. Jackson Smith in Jigba, the next great Ohio State wide receiver. Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame. Clemson's got some good defensive ends. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Jalen Carter from Georgia, and the number one guy right now, that is Will Anderson, the edge rusher out of Alabama. He would have been the consensus number one pick this year had he been draft eligible. We here at Chat Sports have you guys covered every single day with all the latest NFL news and rumors as they happen. So if you want to stay updated, be the smartest of your friend group with the NFL coverage, subscribe to Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV.